jutra. Thank you for coming today to our talk. And first I want to introduce our stars, right? Miss Dr. Burgener, PhD in biology and founder of Dr. Burgener Switzerland. So thank you for being here. Margaret Herrinch and Stephen Herrinch, the founders of Omorovicza. And I have here Filippo Pericone, the owner of Backlabel, and Emmy is joining us soon.
Sorry about that.
And John Lester, the CEO and co-founder of ILA. And facilitating with me we have Yana Zutsova. She's a journalist and the creator of the first spa blog in the country. So she'll be helping me to make sure you guys are on time on your answers. And also people realize that skincare is not only about putting things on your face, but it's about what you eat, how you exercise, how you have your lifestyle, things that you shouldn't do, like high exposition to the sun or smoke and things like that. So we came to this conscious about how to care for our skin connected to the high technology products, that the ones that are gladly representing Russia, which that's why we're here. So my question to you, and the question for the discussion is, what's the future? Is this the future? Is that it? I mean, the conscious and the technology that we have right now brought us to the future, or we have some?
I think where we are going, you are talking, you were talking about lifestyle. I think lifestyle is what is known today. This year we talked a lot about epigenetics, and epigenetics is the environment. The big question is, our DNA will define our destiny or not? And the answer today, this year, the scientific gave this answer that our DNA will not define our destiny, but the environment, the way that we live, and the choices that we are going to have in our life will directly have an influence on our genes, and will not only change our genes, will switch off and on our genes, and the genes of our children, which is incredible, because this means the way that we live is going to have an influence directly on our kids and the future generation. And this isn't the answer. I think it's we did a lot of research to understand aging, the mechanism of aging, and aging the skin is one of the things that you are looking, and we are all working in cosmetics today to stop aging or to improve the mechanism. But first we have to understand really at the cellular and genetic level how it is functioning. And I think we did really a huge how do you say that? Jump, yeah, to understand all these mechanisms. And certainly for the future, I think it is coming in adding the science into all these creams that we are using. And certainly also the lifestyle is very important, because how we live will influence directly our skin. And for this reason, it's interesting to have a spa, because in the spa you have a full approach, the holistic approach of the skin, of the aging, which is the physical activity, the nutritional way, the distress, and it is important.
What would be your thoughts on this?
Well, just to follow up on that fantastic insight and to your point, personalization is clearly a big focus.
Yeah.
It's not only a challenge. I think that a lot of brands and something I'm sure all of us are working on, we're focusing on it because our clients would like something special. And clients are becoming more and more sophisticated. And I think that perhaps 10 years ago, if you were to provide boosters, other very targeted, high concentration products, there perhaps would not be the
necessary for everyone, but only for me, with my case, with my skin, and so
exactly. So I think personalization is something that's going to be a big focus. Certainly is increasingly for us. But interestingly, about the beauty business, what has always been the case and remains to be is I think when people look at beauty, they have an expectation of transformation. And not only do they have an expectation for transformation at a certain level, at the luxury level, they're looking for magic. And that's something that I think all of us are, as customers, as brand owners, we're all very aware of. But I think to your point, Woodson, what has changed is that instead of looking for perfection, the ideal, I think people are having a more holistic approach and wanting to reach their potential. And wanting to reach their potential in a physical way and wanting to reach their potential in a holistic way in terms of exercise, in terms of knowledge, all these different fields. And I think that's something that is shifting kind of beneath our feet, which is exciting.
But also, back to your point, what's fascinating is the idea of aging is something which, if you read science journals, which I don't, but once in a while you just get a brief, it seems to suggest the idea of aging may just disappear. It may be that you don't necessarily age in the way that we age now, in very, very short order. And so you're left with a totally different kind of care, and a totally different kind of horizon in terms of years during which care, if you believe, as we do, obviously that care is important to your appearance and your well-being, you are looking at a much longer number of years during which the care that you take of your skin is even more important than it is right now. If the idea of the big signs of aging is something that you can reverse, then of course the idea of care becomes different, but even more important. And I think that's very, very, in a way it's quite scary, this de-aging. At the same time, it's a great opportunity for further care and further enhancement.
So when we bring in the wellness, I know you know a lot about wellness because ILA was found on wellness, right?
Yeah, very much.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think I agree with all that's gone before. I think it's quite interesting that you produce this product. That here is a product that's very simple. You talked about rice water being used. So there's also this desire to go back to very natural things and remembering that the skin is the largest organ. So we need to take care of our organs because that takes care of our bodies and our aging process. The skin is very important. And so what we're putting on the skin has a tremendous impact on our well-being. But well-being reaches into lots and lots of other areas. It's slightly off the subject, but it's very interesting. We've recently had some research done into particular sounds and interested in the CDs that Denise records. And a Harley Street doctor and an American doctor have seen extraordinary changes in the body very quickly through listening to the music. So I think we'll see developments that take us into new areas of care, combining. So the original thought behind Denise's CD was to do a CD that accompanied a treatment and complemented the treatment. Now we're actually seeing that there's real science there and very unexpected science. For example, the stress markers in the blood immediately responded. And apparently, normally to treatment, it takes a few days. And so listening, and we mentioned smell, how important smell is. And so I think these things will come into play as well. I think there is I obviously believe that a move towards being more natural. There's an enormous knowledge base in plants. So indigenous people actually who put things together, again your rice water, actually behind that is science. And maybe we need to rediscover the science and think about what we're putting on the body, that we actually are feeding the skin, we're feeding the body. So I think again a lot more knowledge will come about how we feed the body through the skin, how we feed the body through the ears, how we feed the body through the nose, as well as how we...
Taking that subject of new ways of complementing the overall care for the skin. Filippo is here and he has a an amazing approach to skincare. He doesn't have a skincare product,
No, not yet. Well, and I'm
but he cares for the skin daily through his clothes. So his clothes are they are all natural fibers done with milk fibers. I'll let him explain more about it. But it's a new way to care for the skin as well. So it's almost like a compliment on a daily basis.
that's the way how I see it. And well, thanks a lot for this invitation.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm a lot more scientific than all you guys, so I have to start from bottom up. But thank you very much
You're
for
welcome.
this invitation, and thank you for this opportunity. Yes, that's what we started 6 years ago. We following this conversation that you're having. The idea that the skin is our largest organ, and also what we put next to our skin for 12, 14 hours a day is equally important. So the idea of deriving fibers from natural ingredients. So we do derive fibers out of milk, out of seaweed, out of bamboo, but in a cellulose way, out of eucalyptus, and it's enriched with mycotoxin, vitamin E, and so on. And going forward, we found out that there was a whole world deregulated completely in the textile business that would bring us wearing things that we would not be aware of. So, meaning lead in the dyeing process, meaning a lot of toxic substances in the fibers. And it's a whole process that we are trying to portray throughout what we do. And that's the curious thing, is that we never thought to sell clothes or sportswear inside a spa environment. We just started with the same old ones, Barney's, Net-a-Porter, Zoom, whatever. And then all of a sudden the market came to us saying the right place to talk about your story is actually a spa. So, and here I am after 2 years only, actually, to be very honest, talking about it. So we just had a very normal approach to common sense, and we thought, okay, why wearing polyester, which is plastic, next to your skin when you exercise? I mean, it's completely unnatural. It's surely not healthy. Nobody talks about it. But there is a way to make beautiful sports clothes out of cotton, Ecotech certified, if you want organic, if not, not. And that's how we started. And gladly, I would say that we are probably between the first to do so. I would love to see more. I would love maybe one day to see that product being called one of the big brands and us being the future of it. And so in a way, yes, I am following through.
Right, exactly.
I have a question. Do you think we are coming more into the personalization of services more and more? You know, people buying creams for their type of skin, right? Or even going further with personalization of my own life, or my own product, or my own treatment. Do you think we'll have a professional that will merge into a point that he will be a full professional that will do face analysis, treatment, food, health style device? Do you think we'll come to this point that we'll have a professional that will do this full recipe treatment, full care analysis on a personal level?
I don't see why not. I mean, the funny thing is, Hungarians, way back when, they had these enormously long training for therapists. So they would spend 3 years before they could actually go. And their training involved anything that they needed to know to be able to deal with a customer. And they had to be able to make their own products from stuff that grew nearby. You're talking 70s. And they would look at the food, because there wasn't everything available that you have now. So in a funny kind of way, you're sort of going back to the future, because you would have had then to go to this practitioner, and you know, Adrienne you met was trained like
Yes.
this. And she can tell you everything you want to know, what you need to eat, what you need to grow in the garden to make the products, if you can't do Omorovicza. You know. So it isn't a training that doesn't exist. It's just something people have moved away from. I think it's not at all outlandish to suggest you'd have that again.
There is also so much more knowledge now.
Of course,
That's
true.
the other
Yeah.
thing, isn't
Yeah.
it? That
Which improves it.
improves it enormously.
But the idea is
because-
that one practitioner can take care of all these needs. I think it's
And don't forget garments as well.
With the
Want to
proper
be left
garment-
out.
with the proper
Yeah,
garment.
the bamboo
Yeah, but
garden
it's
as
not, the
well.
idea is not certainly that you have to have one person take care of all your life. And customization, we launched this year the customization of the skin. And this is, I think, as you said before, we are going more and more in this way. And we launched this year a full analysis of the skin, which goes up to the genetic analysis of the skin, and then creating the full program and products for the client, and doing a follow-up for this client. This means that we are connected like in center of expertise for for all the analysis, and then we decide which ingredients we should put in each cream. And then we are creating a therapy box for each client and doing a full service, following up the client with a monthly report and the monthly treatment completely adapted to her. And every 3 months we have a full analysis of the skin again. And I'm doing these analyses with 2 doctors and one professor in France who is a very well-known dermatologist. And we are doing this follow-up because I think customization is the future. And it's like in medicine, for cancer we are doing the same. We are studying how to adapt a full treatment for the person, the patient who has the cancer, and how to adapt for him the good medicine. And for the future we are doing that. Now we are launching these kind of treatments for the cosmetics.
So Dr. Burgener, I know this type of analysis, and if I want to engage in such programs, will have a high cost, right? Do you think in the future this will be more accessible?
Of course.
Accessible to people?
When we will, now it is high cost, but it's a full service also, and certainly working more and more, it will become more accessible for many persons. And we are working also on nutritional supplements that will be completely, because we can measure in the skin the nutrition that you have in the skin, and creating a complete nutritional supplements for the person, which is completely adapted and customized. But of course, this doesn't mean that you have to eat badly and live badly. It's a full lifestyle that we have to have this efficiency of the treatment.
So you took a tissue?
No, it's only
How it goes?
by spectrophotometry. We are measuring what you have in the skin for nutrition, like the iron, the magnesium, different elements. And for the genetic analysis, we take only in this
Inside.
saliva on the skin.
Yeah.
And we measure 2-3 genes like the collagen gene, the elastin, and
The production of
these fibers. We can see how are your fibers and if
How
they are going
fast
to
they are.
if they are going to age, the aging of these fibers, and how should we complement these fibers. We launched these treatments in Switzerland, in our center in the Relais Château in Vevey, and the first international level, it was in Cap Ferrat, Four Seasons Cap Ferrat, where we have a full space with all the equipments, and Laetitia is here, and now she is our therapist and responsible of this program of the haute couture, we called it, or haute couture or made-to-measure treatments. And she's based there and working in this space.
Another thing going on as well, though, that individuals are becoming much, much more knowledgeable. There's so much information, so much knowledge coming, so people themselves are gradually becoming experts about their own bodies. So they're also learning. They're learning what works for them, what works on their skin. So you've also got that going on at the same time as science is moving, the whole industry is moving.
Yes.
You've got the individuals really
The clients moving
moving
with
at
them.
such a
Yes.
speed. Yeah, so much more knowledge.
It's absolutely true. We have so many, I'm sure it's the case for all of us, but our clients come and know everything that is in every product that we sell. They know how they relate to each other. They know how one product can actually make another one work better. And in that way, I think that the internet has had such a massive impact on our business, and I think it's something that's still reverberating. I think it's something that we haven't clearly seen. It's just the beginning of it, and that is why the physical spaces, the treatments, things that one cannot get online. These wonderful programs that are quite exclusive, and these wonderful spas like the Four Seasons is going to become more important than ever. Is because this is what's going to drive people, who do have a great understanding of ingredients to come in and try and see for themselves and experience it for themselves as well.
So the spa becomes the place to come and be healed. It goes back to the original meaning of spa, to go and bathe in the water, and we're experiencing a lot of interest from professional organisations that provide medical care, saying, can we provide services which will be preventative because of the massive cost of medical care and the massive cost of people being off work, being sick.
Very good point.
It's a big industry again.
This is a challenge, John. I think it's this mixture between the wellness, the well-being, and really adding the medical spa. It's a mixture of medical spa and of a spa, as we understand really what is a spa. And the future is mixing these two elements, and the client they don't have any more time to spend hours and hours. In 1 hour for a facial care, they need really efficiency. And for this reason, you have to adapt and to take the medical, what we know in the medical field or the medical spa, and introduce it into a spa. And for this reason, this is a challenge, how to treat this.
Yeah, because everybody wants a result.
Exactly, and quick result.
Absolutely. And the science is catching up all the time. And then it will leave, and then it will switch around again, and that's what's going on. But spa's very interesting. So the traditional doctor, I think it's interesting in the UK now that they're telling doctors no longer to say to people, you need this treatment, you're going to do this. They say to the person, these are the options that are available to you, and let the person choose. So people are coming to a point where they can listen to a doctor and say, actually, I don't agree with you, I want to do this.
All these things about connection nature, I want to take us to a bit of different topic, but all of you, when I was selecting products and when I select products for the spas, I also see how the company or the brand supports the environment around it, right? The charities, the support, looking for the purest things, working with people that are really doing things from the heart and supporting the environment. Unfortunately, in some spas, and even Four Seasons spas, we have companies that don't. And it's a very touchy subject because it doesn't resonate with my heart. I cannot work with a company that's hurting an animal or the nature or the trees or whatever. It needs to be pure. And that's all of you are here because you all have this connection to the environment. So I'd like for you to speak a little bit how your company connects to the environment around itself. So how are you contributing to the world and to the people around you? And I'm not talking about skincare, I want to take that out a little bit. I'm really talking about people, hearts, eyes, mouths, right? People that have to go to work every day and to feed their family, or the forests, the air. So how are you as a company contributing to that? Maybe you'd like to start because I know you have an amazing story.
But he's fantastic. I think he's really fantastic.
Look. He shared with me something very cool when we are starting to work together. And Filippo is in some of the Four Seasons already, and he's a big supporter of the brand. And he was telling me his company, it's more than organic.
There's also my boss here.
I'll introduce the boss in a minute. But Amy is the co-founder of the Backlabel, and they were telling me that the company is organic from get-go. And I say, okay, but everybody says the same. And they told the story about the machines, the oil, and the employees. And I want you to start, maybe you can start the subject. And
I think going back to what you were saying before, wellness has as a concept. We talked about the DNA, how it's going to affect the next generations. That's how it started. And I think the approach of wellness has to be as a whole. So you can't make a beautiful cream or a beautiful piece of clothing and just think that the people that will ultimately make it will not have the same kind of good feeling of those that will wear it. So you start from considering your employees, the footprint, the effort that you do by making a company, and the future of in 30, 40 years probably I won't be here by doing this, but somebody else will. So we start by very simple things on a daily basis. You start by using hybrid cars when people deliver the post, have to go by bicycle. You don't want, or when you say organic, it means that the cotton field has to be organic, then the dyeing facilities have to be certified organic, then the harvesting has to be organic. So it's a concept of being, trying to have the least impact on this earth that you can. And with this, we produce everything in Italy in our case. Everything is made in Italy. Again, it was not easy. We found, that's the conversation when we started, we found that the race for profit sometimes kind of shows some shortcuts. And but again, the SPA environment, trying to mix your products with the right culture, with the right people that are ready to take these kind of products, and so it is a successful story in the end, because it is possible to have almost zero impact, to pay your employees in the right way, to incentive them. I think we talked about some of our employees that were least fortunate, and we tried to give them a chance, especially my wife Amy, who was very, very close to this subject. And it's working, and I think in a way you perceive it with the products, by touching it, by seeing the philosophy of the company, and it is part of a bigger concept of doing things right and doing things.
I know you have a large ladies community in Lebanon, which you work with, which I think is brilliant.
Yeah, we support the two foundations, one in or association, one in India and one in Lebanon, and we are working on for example bags, small bags, where they are doing the bags with birds, the crochet with birds, and doing these bags, for example, for putting the products inside in it. We are working now with India on a special program to produce tea and to produce the oil massage, for example, in India, or even to produce these small bags in silk with these ladies. And it's like cooperative with microcredit, where we can really help at each product sold. We will take €1, €2, €3, whatever, to deliver to these cooperative, to these ladies, and these are really well paid. For raw material, the same. We are working on for Morocco also on the argan oil, to see how they produce it and how we have to pay them the right price. This is for the idea. For the environment, I think luxury has to go with protection of the environment, and we took out all the carbon or the paper bag, which is the boxes to protect the products, and we have now microfiber bags, where our products are into microfiber bags that you can use it, you can reuse it to protect
It's
jewels.
a great idea.
And this is a great idea. It's complicated because you have to protect the product, and especially when the product has to move from one country to another. And it was really challenging to accept that luxury can go with the idea that you take out the boxes and you can go into the product himself, and the product is into a microfiber bag.
It was the first time when I saw it
Last
in your
year.
brand, and I was first of all, it's so cute. I mean, you love this.
It's
you
like
don't-
a jewel, yeah?
Exactly. You don't think that it's helpful or it's protect the nature. It's the second idea. I mean, first it's so cute. I want it. I don't know why, but I want it. And then Pauline told me that it's because of to protect future. Do not use too much cartoon or
Exactly.
it's amazing.
You know, one of the things that Ila brought to the table when we opened the spa here, it was the research we did with the brand and the care that Denise has on picking the right communities worldwide, actually, including
Worldwide.
Brazil.
Yeah.
You know, which I was very surprised. They use the coconut oil, right?
Coconut oil.
The palm oil.
No, not palm oil. From the Kayapu tribe, it's babasu oil.
Babasu
Yeah.
oil. My country,
And
sorry.
and some other products as well.
Babasu oil, but
Babasu,
they
yeah.
have things also in India, all over the world. They do this research and they support the right communities, right? So,
No, absolutely. When we first started, I actually went. I didn't go to the Kayapu, but I went to India and I went and slept with the farmers in the fields and saw where they actually grew the roses, and I saw the process. Denise and I went to Morocco. You mentioned argan oil, and we tracked down a Berber tribe woman who actually was being exploited by lots and lots of other people because they were buying
Right.
product from her, cutting it and charging a big price for it. That lady now has a big facility. She makes lots of argan oil. When we first saw her, she realised that she couldn't produce the argan oil by crushing it in a bowl because it's got impurities. So her husband had made her a very simple screw device to crush with a washing machine motor to drive it. And she's now got lots of them. But we were very interested because she said, if you develop that, how do you protect the Berber women who are dependent upon that income? And she said, I've thought about this. So what I'm doing is I strip get them to collect the berries, because it's a berry. My husband again has made a machine that will strip them down to the nut. Then I give them the nuts in bags, they take them home, they crack them, and they bring back 2 bags. And she said, I pay them money. And in that way you keep the indigenous system. It was the same with the Kayapu. Lots of people have given the Kayapu charitable money, but they don't do anything very worthwhile with it. Give them a way of earning a living, and they immediately take it.
do these individuals know where these products are going to
Yeah,
and what they're doing to people?
One of the Kayapu chiefs actually came to Oxford. Completely amazed me with his big lip piece and his gear. He actually came to Oxford. So yeah, no, they do.
Very nice.
And he brought with him lots of beaded necklaces and things that the women had made. And he said, I want you to buy these as well. And I foolishly thought, it's going to be sort of £10 or something. And I said to him, how much? And he said, well, this one's £300, this one's £550. I was quite taken aback.
That's 50% off, just to get
And he said the women in the tribe had said they'd been on the internet, they'd found out how much these things are worth. So, there's a whole opportunity to give people something.
But that's the thing. As we all are producers and brands, but it's always a matter of culture in the end. We can do as much as we can, but ultimately it's you guys, our ambassadors. You talk to your customers, so it's you that you have to collect so many informations and try to portray to the clients. So ultimately, because we are talking about culture and also journalists, and this has really the power to bring up what we do and change this.
When I met the rose growers, they said to me, "We're so pleased you've come."
Yes.
And they said, for years
Indeed.
we've been praying on our crops that these wonderful products would bring benefits to the world.
That's beautiful.
And they said, we've got no opportunity to do that. You've
yeah.
come along and you can do it. You can be our... The same with Tibetans. Denise was asked to develop some Tibetan treatments, and she developed them, but she said to the spa, I won't give them to you until I've met a Rinpoche and asked whether they're legitimate, whether they're real. And she went up into the Himalayas and met this man. He then took it away. He said, I'll take the papers away, I'll read, I'll study. He came back the next day, and he came back with his incense burner, and he said, I'm blessing them. He said, I'm blessing you. He said, you're preserving the correct Tibetan teaching. And he said, it
Right.
will be lost.
Right.
He said, this is a
you
wonderful
don't,
gift
of
to
course.
the world. And again, it's what Spa can do. It's what Spa
Yeah.
can bring. Spa
I
can
agree.
hold that knowledge
And pass.
and pass on.
Any thoughts on that, Margaret and Steve?
I think that when Steve and I started this brand 10 years ago, we launched 10 years ago. We started it a bit before that. There was never any question. There was never any question that we would include synthetic ingredients. There was never any questions that we wouldn't use anything but recyclable materials. It was just very much a part of who we are, and how we live our lives, and how we wanted to build our company. And so it's really, truly at the heart of everything we do, and you can extrapolate that with the wonderful ingredients. You can extrapolate the waters which we use, which are an ancient organic source, which has been in Stephen's family for hundreds of years. There's that wonderful sense of heritage as well, continuing that appreciation for nature. And the great joy we have in pushing it forward. Stephen, I hate to speak for Stephen, but Stephen is an exquisite formulator and an amazing nose.
I'm not a chemist.
No, but you just about should be. You just about should be. No, but I say that with such love and admiration. But the joy that you have sitting with the perfumers, we were just talking about this, and creating pure fragrances that are bespoke for us but very sophisticated, and that is just a whole other approach to luxury, I think.
But I think on a different note, I think there's also increasingly large numbers of guardians of nature out there on in the blogosphere. So even if you were not initially so minded about the environment because you're desperately trying to get your brand out there, you would find, I think nowadays in particular, very quickly that you simply can't, because there'll be somebody out there with a pesky question. You think they're going to go away, and the next day you find them reviewing your products on some big website. And it's quite a good check, because you find that, again, we have a natural brand and we care about the environment, we care about Hungary in particular, and the Heavies and the source. But if we didn't, it would certainly bite us. We do there's a lot, sort of galloping crowd of people out there asking you whether you retail in China, whether you do this, whether you do that. Mm-hmm. It's a very good way of keeping you focused, I think, on the things that matter. And if they don't even matter to you, they really matter to your customers. So one way or another, I think you are brought to
That's true.
care.
Fantastic. We'd like to open now questions, open to questions from the audience. If you'd like to ask anything to one of our guests before we finalize our talk. I think it was a fantastic time together, and I want to thank you all first before the questions.
Thank you.
It's an honor to have you here, and really, you are friends, and I'm so glad to get you guys together one more time. We see each other separately in different parts, but here with us in our home, it's always special.
Yeah.
It's always special.
Yes.
Always special. So you're new to the group. Shut up. So Amy, thank you so much for coming. I know you folks rushed from the airport, and you went through a bit of challenge to get here.
As
and,
every American living in Italy trying to get a
so
visa.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
But do you have any questions from our guests, to our guests?
Things that we've been thinking of. Yes, I quite agree with Jana that it's changed. I think from one point we talk a lot that we hate aging. From another point, now we journalists talk a lot that let's take it real, let's take it more normal. But then you said, no, guys, it's
It's about happiness.
And yes, and it's still about happiness. Like you mentioned that Jan has a wonderful sparkle in your eyes. And so we're talking not about the skin condition, we're talking about the energy condition. And do you think we're going to have any kind of product that will create more energy? Not in terms of visual, the way the skin looks and the way, we have no wrinkles or something. But, the real beauty, and we can see it, that sometimes you can really look after yourself and you can look really nice, but you're not alive.
Right.
And this is one of the things that you can't really change, or maybe you can, because in the end of the world, when you're 40 plus, you have too much work, or you have extra glass of champagne, and then next day you're dead. And, and maybe you can put some cream on, but you're still dead. Nothing will help you. And then they think there's a wonderful pillar that will bring more energy in you, and it will do it on a daily basis. So you feel the same energy you have when you're 20. Because when we're talking about aging, yes, I do realize, I would love to have it, but I do realize nothing we can do about the skin. It will damage and it will get older. We can make it look nicer, but still, one day it will happen. But in terms of energy, is there any hope there?
Thermal water, if I can jump in.
Good one.
No, but it's well, obviously, we would say that because that's what we do. But I find that I was in Budapest last week, and often we keep talking about these thermal baths, obviously, that again is what we use. But so once in a while, I find it important to bring clients to the bath so that they think, they realize it's not just talk. And so it happened immediately that we'd gone out very late with that client, and the next morning, very early, we went out to these outdoor baths. The proof is in the pudding, and it is. And there are lots of things you can do out there to give you instant boost of energy, and I think thermal bathing is as old as time, and it's incredibly
I
energizing.
don't know at home. I'm really worried about
I
that.
sell it by the liter.
You can move to Budapest. But you
I'm
should-
selling it by the liter. Yeah.
No, there are things. That you're going to be an equivalent here. That's what they do in Budapest. But there are things out there that will. I remember in the 70s there was this extremely popular, enduringly popular ad campaign in France. If anybody was alive then and or near France, a company called Vitel, again thermal water to drink. And the whole of the ad campaign, there were at least 5 or 6 different clips made over the course of the 70s and the early 80s, and it was just about that. Putting energy, getting energy back, vitalizing, and it was about the thermal waters. I think that in a nutshell, drink some thermal water.
Yeah, but the idea of the spa,
Right.
this idea, the spa into the
Energizing.
city, is energizing, is coming to spend
energizing.
time for 1 hour and a half and to be energized. This is the idea.
And spa means healthy water, so we're back to the water.
Anyway, this is really a wish and dream a lot of people.
Of course.
That's true. Maybe Tatiana has a question, please. Oh, has a dream.
Who doesn't?
Please tell us.
Probably, I would like to ask if it's really possible. I'm always trying a lot of creams like for the area under eyes, and it's always I'm waiting for miracle, as you say. But I never see that. Like for example, when I use cream for face, I can see that okay, it looks like it's bright, it's nicer, but wrinkles are still there, like this eye area, it's for me it's like nothing can beat the injections. Maybe in future it can be some cream or some serum which will solve this problem for women better.
Maybe this product is already exists, but for example, I have very dry skin, and I have tried a lot of creams, and well, they do have the hydration effect, but it doesn't last too long. And I would like to have such a cream have effect about 2-3 maybe days, maybe a week. So
Years, please.
it would be better,
Yes,
of course, but
for example.
maybe it could be.
It's not good for you, I understand.
Why
If
would
I
you take it out of
buy
business
just
and
one,
stop it at all?
it's like,
No, this is
nice
true.
which never broke.
I mean,
That's
she's
right.
right. When we talk about customization, it's for that, because we restore
Exactly.
the lipid of the skin. We restore this barrier of the skin, and this will come from some ingredients that we have to put, and especially for your skin, and with nutrition. And for this reason, we are working a lot on nutritional supplements, because inside, when you eat the good amino acids or the good fatty acids, the essential fatty acids that will go directly into restoring the lipid of your skin, you will not have this problem only that you add the lipid from outside or from your cosmetic, and after 2 hours you don't have anything anymore. We are working on that, and customization is for that, is to add exactly the good ingredient by nutritional supplement and by cosmetics to restore the lipid of the skin, and you will not have any problem anymore.
You will be third
In the meantime,
in this queue.
Or actually, just a side note is take a facial oil, take your regular moisturizer, and again towards the customization, take one of the fantastic facial oils, because this is what I do. I have the same issue that you do. And sometimes, especially at this time of year, if I'm not using the Gold Rescue Cream, I take our Rejuvenating Night Cream and I mix it with our Miracle Facial Oil or any product that you have. And I find that facial oils are so sophisticated and make such an impact now.
John will know that.
He has a very good one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, take the Ela, and it works a treat in my experience.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well,
I actually agree with that. Interestingly, take face oil and night cream and mix those together.
It works quite well.
Yeah, it's true.
all right. So again, I want to thank you all. Thank you, Natalia, for putting this together. You know, Natalia does the event with me.
It was my idea, by the way.
So thank you so much. So with this talk, we kick off the Spa with the Stars event. Natalia and I are putting together a great, entertaining time for you tomorrow. We start at 2 at the Presidential Suite, and at 3 we go to the spa, where we will be entertained by lots of things and lots of food, lots of music, and lots of good people. So again, thank you all for coming. This is great. Thank you.
Thank you.
And you as well.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.